Hi, I'm Rain from Scotland, and this is my story. Please like and subscribe! When I was little, Mom used to tell me I was a grown-up trapped in a child's body. I was different from my twin sister Luna, a typical sand-eating Jell-O sticky kid. From the moment I started kindergarten, I'd help Mom with everything around the house. Laundry, cooking, taking out the trash.
My sweet Rain, you are what we call an old soul.
But I think I only helped Mom out because I was scared our lives would fall apart if I didn't. My dad lay around the house like a sloth all day, dreaming about becoming a famous actor.
I wasn't born to do petty jobs. I'm here to be a great actor, like Michael Jackson.
Dad, Michael Jackson was a singer.
Dad, when you become rich and famous, will you take me to Disneyland? And can I have my own castle?
My princess? I'll buy you a dozen castles.
Obviously, Luna was Dad's favorite daughter because she'd fall for all his lies. When Luna and I were in 6th grade, our parents got divorced. Dad went to the US to fulfill his acting dream. He took Luna with him while I stayed behind with Mom. Dad hardly kept in touch, and Mom and I missed Luna so much. Mom was also having trouble finding a good job. And then one day I had a brilliant idea. Mom, you make amazing cupcakes and cookies. What if you put up a stall at my school carnival next week? Mom loved the idea. And sure enough, her stall was a huge success. From that day on, Mom set up baking stands at the park, and a few years later, she started her own bakery. But she worked long hours, so I was mostly by myself in the house. When I wasn't doing household chores, I was reading or studying. I was the top of my class at school, but I didn't have many friends. On my 15th birthday, my life took a turn. Dad called us with wild news.
Luna is coming back to live with you guys. I'll send her flight details soon.
With that, he hung up without even wishing me happy birthday. But Mom was overjoyed, and so was I. It turned out Luna had been living the life of a billionaire. Dad had married a wealthy woman who lived in a palace. They were sending Luna to us on a private jet. When Luna arrived, all she could talk about was America.
I'm already missing the US so much. It's like the coolest country on the planet.
Apparently, Luna also had a filthy rich boyfriend. She was wearing tons of gold jewelry that he'd bought her.
His name is Nate, and he's a junior in high school. He's even flying in to see me soon.
If your life is so great in America, why'd you move here?
I needed some change. I thought the fresh country air would be good for my skin.
Fresh country air? We live in Glasgow, Scotland's largest city. When we reached home, Mom asked me to show Luna around. That's when she saw the trophies I'd won over the years.
OMG! I see you're still the same nerdy Rain.
If nerdy means having top grades, then yeah, I guess.
If I managed to get a C, I'd treat myself to a spa day. Studying really messes with my brain.
The next few days, all Luna did was sleep or watch dancing videos on her phone while I went to school and did all the chores. I even did her laundry, but apparently that wasn't enough for her.
Iron them for me, too. They're wrinkled.
They're wrinkled because you tossed your clothes on the floor. I was basically a 15-year-old mom raising a royal brat. When Mom enrolled Luna at my school, she instantly became popular as this cool, bubblegum chewing kid from America. Whenever I was with Luna, an army of students followed us everywhere. One time, some girls even followed us into the bathroom. She has to pee. Do you want to watch her do that too? Just then, Luna came out of the stall totally transformed. She'd knotted her shirt way up her waist, exposing her belly, and her knee-length skirt was now barely reaching her thighs.
Come on, girls! Who wants to take some pictures?
The girls queued up for a selfie with Luna. Then they gave her £1 each. What was that?
These girls wanted a photo of me when I told them that my style is the most popular style for girls in the US at the moment. And since Mom gives us peanuts for allowance, I thought this would be the cool way to make some money.
Mom does the best she can. Why do you have to complain about everything?
Why do you always have to play the perfect child? Don't you get bored?
Actually, I do. Some days I want to be just like you, lazing around the house, sleeping like a log, and acting like a jerk. This made Luna so angry that she spat out her bubblegum and was about to stick it in my hair. But I pushed her, and she went flying into one of the cubicles, landing straight into a toilet bowl. Now this is a throne perfect for a spoiled princess like you. Luna and I pretty much ignored each other after that. She spent all her time hanging out with her friends and going to parties every night. And as usual, I was all alone. But on the last day of school, I walked to Mom's bakery and found Luna sitting outside looking upset. Luna, what's wrong?
I'm a failure. A stupid, dumb failure. I flunked all my classes. I have to repeat the 9th grade.
What do you mean you have to repeat the 9th grade? How could you fail all your classes?
Don't you see I already feel horrible? Stop judging me for once.
I fell silent, and after a moment I reached down and helped her up. It's not the end of the world, Luna. Come on, let's go in and help Mom out a little. Luna and I helped Mom out all day. Luna was sweating and exhausted, but Mom was overjoyed with the work we did. She offered us both summer jobs.
You girls did so well today. And Luna, I think having a job will be good for you.
To my surprise, Luna agreed. It took her weeks to get used to working in the kitchen, but after a while, we started having lots of fun. From that day on, Luna and I spent every minute together. I was having more fun and not working as hard. Luna even invited me to her friends' parties. But a couple weeks later, Luna's boyfriend Nate flew in to visit for a few days. He arrived at our house in a limousine with a white horse trotting behind.
I got you your own horse, babe. We can ride him together.
Oh my god, he's perfect! This is so romantic!
Where are we going to keep a horse? We don't even have a stable. Luna ignored me and just walked into the house with Nate. I also found out Nate was obnoxious and bragged non-stop.
It's tough being the son of a billionaire. All the girls want is a piece of this. Someone's going to write my story one day because I'm just too special to be real.
And worst of all, Luna was totally obsessed with him. She would share a chair with him at breakfast and take selfies of them kissing every 5 seconds. I'd started thinking she wasn't all that bad, but she was back to acting as immature as ever and left me working all alone at the bakery. Then one day as I was heading out, I saw Nate standing in the doorway and smiling. Excuse me, I have a job to go to now.
I bet you look adorable in an apron. How about I go with you, beautiful?
Nate leaned in closer and I shoved him away. Get away from me, you creep.
Just one kiss. Luna doesn't have to know.
Luna doesn't have to know what, babe?
Luna put her arms around Nate, but I pulled her away. Your sleazy boyfriend just tried to kiss me behind your back.
Ha 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 ha, you're funny. Rain, but I know Nate and boring and nerdy isn't his type. Don't be jealous. You'll have a boyfriend soon too.
Yeah, don't be jealous, Rain.
Luna and Nate started to leave, but I grabbed Luna's arm. You're such an idiot. I've been at the bakery by myself for the past few days. You have to help out this afternoon.
Okay, sis, I'm just taking Nate to the spa and then I'll come back.
Yeah, drop your cheating boyfriend off at the spa. Luna ignored me, but did come to the bakery later. I left her alone so I could run to the library and study. But an hour later, I got a call.
Rain, come back quickly. The bakery's on fire.
I felt as if someone had pulled the ground from under my feet. I immediately called a fire brigade and rushed back. How did this happen?
I don't know. I was baking cupcakes, but the batter overflowed and first the oven caught fire. And then...
Luna, how stupid can you be?
It was an accident. I'm sorry.
Just then, Mom arrived on the scene too. The fire brigade managed to put out the fire, but by then, everything was lost. No one had dinner that night. Mom's eyes were puffy from crying. But neither Luna nor Nate said a word. It's okay, Mom. We'll build everything again.
But it will take months. How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to send you girls to school?
I hugged Mom and stayed with her the whole night while Luna shut herself up in her room with Nate. Nate was leaving the next afternoon. Before his flight, Luna blindfolded him and led him to our back alley.
Ta-da! I bought you a car, babe!
Are you serious? How'd you get me a car?
My dad sends me a huge allowance. I spent all of mine on this car for you.
Are you kidding me? That money could have helped pay off damages to Mom's bakery that you burnt down.
I ordered the car a month ago and Rain, the bakery fire was an accident. I already feel horrible about it, but you keep making me feel worse.
I don't think you feel bad at all. You never even apologized to Mom while you were living your perfect fancy life with Dad. It was really hard for Mom to start her business from scratch, and I always had to be an adult. And you'll always be a spoiled brat who wrecks everything. I spent the next 13 hours studying like crazy, and when I wasn't studying, I tidied my room. I had to get my mind off Luna, and I had to stop worrying about Mom. Finally, at night, Mom came into my room.
Sweetie, take a break and relax.
How can I relax? We lost the family business in a fire because Luna's an irresponsible lunatic.
It's not that simple, Rain.
What do you mean?
Honey, Luna got diagnosed with bipolar disorder last month. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to worry you. People who are bipolar do crazy things sometimes. Then they get really tired and sometimes even sad. It's why Luna sleeps so much and has trouble doing schoolwork.
What? Why would you guys hide that from me?
It was her decision. And honey, trust me, Luna feels terrible about the bakery. Go easy on her, okay?
That night, I couldn't sleep. Why hadn't Luna told me about her condition? Was I a bad person for getting mad at her? The next day, Luna knocked on my door while I was studying.
Mom said she told you about my diagnosis. I'm sorry I kept it a secret from you. I was just so ashamed.
But why, Luna? I'm your sister.
Yeah, my perfect sister who never makes mistakes or fails at anything. I came back to you guys because Dad and his wife couldn't handle having me around. You don't know what it's like to be a disaster like me.
I ran over to hug Luna. I had no idea she'd been suffering, and I'd been so tough on her.
Oh, also about Nate. I'm taking back the car from him and giving the money to Mom. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. I caught him texting with some other girl too.
He's a jerk!
Hi, my name is Luna, aka the Vampire Girl, and it's all because I had the meanest parents. But before I continue, please like and subscribe. I grew up in a normal family in a small town in the Netherlands. But as I got older, I realized that my parents were not just normal. They were actually weirdos. I had never seen them leave the house, like going out for work or buying supplies. What was most annoying was that they often whispered to each other about something extremely mysterious. You might wonder how we could survive. Well, a box of supplies would mysteriously arrive every week, and I had never seen the delivery man. Every day, Dad would spend hours reading the newspaper and circling stuff on it with a red marker. Once, when I was 3, I was trying to warn my dad that there was a spider about to crawl over his breakfast, but he kept ignoring me, so I leapt onto the table and put my foot in his bowl, spilling it all over his newspaper, and Dad went bonkers.
Oh my god, do you realize what you've done?
Spider, spider!
You're just Spider, idiot! Just leave me alone!
Mom, hug! Hug!
You, stay away from me! Didn't I buy you a bunch of stuffed animals? Go back to your room and hug them.
Gosh, I wished I could just leave them forever. They didn't even love me. We never had any visitors, but my grandma. But when I was 5, Grandma came to see us once and she brought me an adorable cat. I was so happy. A rare creature is about to live in my house. But of course my parents are just being themselves.
We already have Luna. It's hard enough to take care of her. No, just take it back, please, Mom.
No freaking way! I ran up to my room with the cat and slammed the door shut. But when I woke up in the morning, my cat had flown away, even though it didn't have wings. I looked all over the house. Nothing. I just knew my parents had gotten rid of it. I screamed and cried, but they said they didn't know anything. Liars! I made a bold decision to run outside and search for my kitten. This was the first time I was breaking my family's rules. But that didn't matter anymore, because I had decided I was never going back to this house. It was a really sunny day, and as I kept running, my skin suddenly started turning really red and itchy. Oh, my body's getting scorched by the sun! I let out one huge scream and fainted. When I woke up, I was lying on my bed. In the room were the doctor and my parents. The doctor said I had a rare condition and advised my parents to absolutely prevent me from any exposure to sunlight.
See? That's what happens when you don't take our advice.
No, that's not true. That can't be right. My parents might be weird, but doctors aren't. Besides, the sun almost killed me, and I never want to go through that horrible feeling again. So after that, I refused to let a single ray of sunlight touch my body, not even indoors. I covered myself from tip to toe, socks, trek pants, hoodie, and a face mask. Only my eyes were visible. The weirdest people like my parents almost fainted when they first saw me running around the house like a little ninja. From nightfall is when I felt safe to remove my costume. I never go outside during the day because I think the outfit isn't thick enough. I even insisted on being homeschooled. But when I turned 15, my parents decided to let me attend regular school. Are you serious? Do you want me to die? I'm allergic to the sun, you know.
I'm fed up with that ninja outfit. After all these years, your condition is probably completely healed by now.
I'd rather jump off a cliff than listen to you.
If you keep behaving this way, I swear I'll send you to your aunt's place in Norway. There's only sunlight there for 6 months.
Gosh, they were unbelievable, and they thought I didn't know about their plan. Fine, but don't think I won't wear this costume to school. I will! It's been years since you last walked in the sun. I can feel the heat slowly getting inside. And when people say you're weirdos for dressing me up like this, just know that you asked for it. I joined school in the 10th grade, and the minute I entered the classroom, everybody started laughing and whispering things like weirdo and freak. I chose the seat farthest from the window and kept my mask on all the time. In lunch break, I waited for everyone to leave the cafeteria before I went in, but suddenly a girl came up and slapped me on the shoulder. It was Jessie.
Luna, right? I'm just curious, why are you dressed like a garbage bag?
I'm ugly. I don't want everyone to laugh at me. She started laughing and just left. I knew that if I said I was allergic to the sun, I would definitely get into trouble. Soon enough, I discovered she was the meanest girl around and would pick on me every chance she got, throwing snakes into my backpack, hiding all the toilet paper when I used the restroom. Another day, I solved a math problem on the board, and as I was returning to my seat, I slipped on some water and fell on the floor.
That's where your place is anyway, weirdo!
I ignored Jessie's stupid pranks, but one day she went too far. I was standing in the shade enjoying a baseball game when suddenly Jessie came out and snatched my mask. I lost my balance and fell off the bleachers. I quickly pulled my hoodie over my face. "You're a crazy freak!" I snapped at Jessie and bit down hard on her hand. Jessie let out a pained scream.
Ah, help! Let me go! You sun-phobic vampire!
And that's how I got my name, Vampire Girl. I could hear people calling me a monster, but I didn't care. At least the bullies were a little scared of me now. A few days later, a new kid joined our class named Luca. His outfit had a bit of a medieval vibe, which made Jessie and her minions laugh uncontrollably when they saw him. They'd found their new target. I joined him in the cafeteria at lunch that day and we started talking. I found out that he was the new janitor's son. He was really sweet and never even said I was crazy when I told him about my condition. I was so happy to have made a friend. But one day, as I was walking down the hallway, I found Jessie and her friends surrounding Luca. She threw the cake on the floor and arrogantly said,
Oops! You can clean this up, Luca. I mean, you'll grow up to be a janitor like your dad, right? Come on, just sit down and wipe it with your butt.
"Hey jerk, stop it! Didn't you promise last time that you wouldn't bully him anymore? Looks like that bite was too gentle, huh? I'll make sure it's way worse this time if you don't get out of here immediately." Jessie rolled her eyes at me, but when I leapt forward, she actually screamed and went running. Luca thanked me, and I always made sure to stick close to him after that. But then, one day, Luca and I had just entered the classroom after recess when Jessie started screaming like crazy.
OMG, my brand new iPhone! It's gone! Someone stole it!
And then she pounced on Luca and grabbed him by his shirt.
You must have done it, you little janitor! You beggar, you thief! Where is it?
"Hey, knock it off you! You have no proof!"
I'll get the proof, girl!
She snatched his bag and started throwing out all his things. I grabbed her hair and she turned around and attacked me. We got into a huge fight and just then the principal walked in. Jessie screamed, insisting that Luca was the culprit and that he had hidden the loot inside his locker. Of course, the principal found nothing there. However, Luca was left humiliated in front of everyone. He seemed very upset, with his face down on the desk. I caught up with him after school. "Hey Luca, are you okay? Jessie is such a witch. I hate rich people. They always look down on us like we're not even human."
Maybe she called me a thief just because I'm poor. Maybe we don't belong here.
"Luca, wait!" And he just walked away. He didn't come to school the next day and his dad was nowhere to be seen either. A week passed and there was still no sign of them. I felt worried, but I didn't know where he lived. But then I remembered Luca talking about how his dad also worked at a restaurant in the evening, so I decided to go talk to him. As I was walking down the street one night without my mask or hoodie, I saw a masked guy running towards me, and suddenly he started snatching my bag as I tried to get away. I lunged at his face and pulled his mask off, and I nearly fell back in shock. It was Luca. But before I could say anything, he ran away. I couldn't believe my eyes. What's going on? Luca really is a thief. Jessie was right. I felt betrayed. What I didn't expect was that Luca showed up at school 2 days later, but I just ignored him. But when he kept following me and asking me what was wrong, I suddenly lost it. "I'll tell you! The girl you robbed the other night on the street, that was me!" He looked horrified.
You, I didn't know. I've never seen your face.
"Whether it's me or not doesn't matter. The real issue is that you're a liar and a thief. I really made a mistake trusting and fighting for you." Suddenly he started weeping like a baby.
I didn't want to steal. Luna, but I just had no choice. My dad's in the hospital. We needed the money. I'm so sorry, but I swear I didn't steal Jessie's phone. I've never stolen anything until that night.
He kept crying and my heart went out to him. "I'm sorry about your dad. Why didn't you tell me and everyone? Let me help you now, but promise me you'll never steal anything again."
I don't want to bother you. I don't want everyone to see me as poor or suspect me of stealing.
"Don't worry about that, Luca. People are better than you think." I immediately went to talk to the school principal. Together, we planned a fundraiser for Luca's dad. Within a day, we raised all the money Luca needed for his dad's treatments and even more. The biggest donors were Jesse's parents. They kept praising me at the fundraiser for arranging the event, and this made Jesse even angrier.
Don't let it get to your head, Luna. You're still a freak and you could never be me.
As if I want to be. What's so special about you anyway, other than being super dumb?
Excuse you. I've been prom queen for the last 2 years. You could never.
Oh, that's cool, but things changed once I got involved.
Haha, seriously, it's prom, not some freak Halloween show. You'll never beat me, stupid vampire.
Luca whispered into my ear.
Don't argue with the girl who hasn't even seen your face!
I bought a beautiful dress for prom since it's tonight. It was the first time anyone in school would be seeing me without my mask and hoodie. As soon as I entered the hall, I saw people turning around and asking each other who I was. Just then, Luca came to me and took my arm.
Luna, you're so gorgeous today.
That's Luna, the vampire girl. I can't believe it was that face behind that mask all this time. She's gorgeous.
Jessie looked furious when she saw everyone's attention was on me, and to my shock, I was actually voted as that year's prom queen. As I was being crowned, suddenly Jessie came charging at me on the stage, trying to rip the crown off my head. But then something strange happened. The bullies who used to pick on me saved me. They all stopped Jessie and took her away.
Hey, don't lay a finger on her, old prom queen.
That was amazing. Things at school started getting better. Everyone was super nice to me now. Luca was tutoring kids after school and his dad came back to work. Soon nobody paid any attention to Jessie and her gang anymore, and all they could do was give me death glares. But one day after gym class, I was quickly changing in the dark locker room when suddenly Jessie and her minions barged in. One of them quickly grabbed my hoodie while the others grabbed me by my hands and legs and started carrying me outside. Stop! Don't do that! Let me go! The more I screamed, the tighter they held on to me. Soon after, they dragged me out into the sun and pinned me to the ground.
Heck, you lied to me. You're not ugly, so you must be a vampire. I hope you melt and disappear. Haha.
Suddenly, someone pushed the girls away. It was a teacher and Luca. While the teacher dragged the bullies off to the principal, Luca quickly took me inside as I cried like crazy.
You're okay now? And your skin, it looks totally fine. It's not even red. Luna, does it hurt or burn?
I looked all over my arms and realized he was right. There were no rashes and it didn't itch or burn at all. Was my condition gone for good? Or had it just been all in my head? When I went back home that day, my parents were shocked to see me.
Luna, where's your hoodie and your mask?
I threw them all away. Mom, Dad, I was out in the sun and nothing happened to me. Maybe I'm cured. Unexpectedly, my parents hugged me tightly, and what they said next was truly like a bolt from the blue.
Sweetheart, it was all just a lie. You don't have any problem at all.
But the doctor?
The doctor was fake, too. Actually, you were just having a normal reaction to sunlight because you rarely went outside. He said what we wanted him to say to protect you.
Protect? No way! I never believed you guys because you hated me and wanted to get rid of me. You even got rid of my cat.
No, we didn't, sweetheart. It just ran away. And we never hated you. When you were growing up, your mother and I were working as undercover government agents. Our actions and work might have made you feel ignored.
What?
Moreover, we didn't want the enemy to discover our identities. That's why we had you wear a mask and hoodie when going outside.
What? My parents were secret agents. That was the last thing I'd ever expected. But suddenly their weird behavior made sense. I wish you'd told me sooner. I could have kept everything a secret.
Just the two of us enduring was more than enough. We always wanted you to live comfortably and not have to worry. We're sorry, Luna.
We should have been better parents to you. We love you so much.
I love you too, guys.
Hi, I'm Alva from Sweden, and I have an incredibly rare genetic mutation that causes my aging process to be much slower than normal. Like when I was 6 years old, I looked like a dumb 2-year-old toddler, which made people treat me like one, and things got even worse as a teenager. But to hear the rest of my story, please like and subscribe. Because of my condition, my parents decided to homeschool me till I was a bit older. I only got to hang out with other kids at the playground, and I'd get picked on all the time because I looked so much smaller than everybody.
Welcome, dwarfs. To her, we're giants.
Even once, when I was about 8 years old, I was playing on the slides in the park when a worried-looking woman came running over to me.
Sweetie, are you lost?
No?
Oh, poor baby, probably can't understand a thing. You must be so scared.
Do I look scared? And I'm not a baby. But she wasn't even listening to me. She just pulled out her phone and called the police.
We have a missing child here, officer. Please help her find her mommy and daddy.
Despite my protests, the policeman still lifted me into a stroller, took me to the station, and started taking pictures of me for missing child posters. Oh my god, I know my parents' number and address! I live right across the street from the playground, and you guys kidnapped me! That was just one of the countless times my parents had to go to the police station to explain and bring me home. It only temporarily stopped when I joined school in the 7th grade. The minute I walked into the classroom, a girl elbowed me roughly and said,
Oh, little one, who are you looking for? Or are you lost?
"Oh, if only I had $1 for every time I heard that, I would be a millionaire by now, and I wouldn't need to be in the school with dumb people like you." And with that, I pushed her aside and took my seat. When I did all the math problems correctly in the first lesson, the teacher called me over looking all starstruck.
Wow, Alva, you're a genius.
Thanks, but why?
Because you solved these algebra problems meant for 12-year-olds.
But I am 12 years old. The teacher just giggled. And then did something I hate. She grabbed my hoodie and lifted me like I was a little kid.
Oh, aren't you a little cutie pie? Yes, you definitely have the mind of a 12-year-old.
No matter how many times I said it, no one believed that I was actually 12. They'd rather believe I was some kind of baby genius who'd been bumped up a few grades. After trying really hard, finally, I gave in and let everyone believe I was super smart. Even so, this didn't really help me become popular or make friends, though. Jessica, the meanest girl in class, wasn't too happy because everyone thought I was the smartest, and she made sure everyone constantly made fun of me.
Oh, my butt looks so huge. Are you wearing a diaper? What kind of language is that book in? Goo goo gaga? Is anyone volunteering to lift Alva up to the toilet?
Another time I was eating lunch by myself when Jessica suddenly stopped by my table.
Oh, how is the baby going to eat all that with her little baby teeth?
Why are you this way, Jessica? What do you mean? I mean, why are you so awful to me? You're the most popular girl in class.
Yeah, I know. But before you showed up out of nowhere, I was the smartest too.
Fine, you're the prettiest and the smartest girl in the world. Can you leave me alone now, please?
Sure, but let me mash everything for the little baby to eat first.
And with that, she started pounding my food with her fist. OMG, you are such a psycho! I picked up the smushed piece of cake and flung it at her face. She picked up my glass of juice and dunked it on my head. My battle with the big bully happened. And before we knew it, everybody joined in for fun and a full-scale food fight had broken out. We both got detention, and after that day I found a corner in the little playpen for the kindergarten kids and basically had lunch there by myself for the next 3 years. Until one day, Isak came and sat next to me. Isak had just joined our class a few weeks ago and he was a total babe. With all the popular girls drooling all over him, I was sure he wouldn't notice someone like me, which is why I was pretty shocked to find him here.
Why do you always have lunch alone?
Is this your first time in high school? Of course, I don't expect someone like you to get it. He took my hand and looked deep into my eyes.
I don't understand why there's such an adorable girl in this high school.
I was so annoyed at how fast that made my heart beat. After that, Isak and I became really good friends. He'd always sit with me to watch his football games and started coming over to my place for study dates. Since he joined so late, he needed to do a lot of catching up and I was more than happy to help. I hated to admit it, I just had the biggest crush on him. The annual spring dance was around the corner and it was all anyone could talk about at school. All the girls were yapping nonstop about their dresses and who they'd be going with. Of course, I was hoping Isak would ask me out, but when he didn't, I decided I didn't need to wait around like a sappy Disney princess. I'd ask him out myself. I bought tickets for the opening show of the new Avengers movie. Just as we were about to enter the theater, one of the cinema staff stopped me.
Hey, little girl, you can't go in. That's a PG-13 movie.
I'm almost 16 here! Look at my ID!
We see fake IDs all the time, kid. Sorry, but I can't let you go.
And with that, he pushed me out of line and refused to listen to me anymore. I can't believe this. Let's go then.
Go. I mean, what's the point of wasting both the tickets? We'll still have dinner together, okay?
And just like that, he turned and went inside. I was furious as I couldn't even go anywhere because he'd driven me here. When he finally came out after 3 hours, he was practically jumping with excitement.
OMG, that was epic! Deadpool is way funnier and cooler than I imagined!
He'd not only watched the movie without me, he'd ruined it for me completely. I thought maybe the rest of the evening would go a little better, but boy was I wrong. At the end of the meal, when the waitress brought us our fortune cookies, they looked over excitedly at Isak to open his and read the little note inside.
Will you be my date for the spring dance, Isak?
He looked up at me in complete shock.
Alva, I don't know how to say this, but no. How could you even think that? You're more like a little sister to me. I've already asked Jessica out. Man, you've really made things awkward.
I felt so utterly crushed and stupid I flung a glass of water in his face. I wish I could become Wolverine to leave 3 scars on your mouth. And with that, I ran out of there and took the bus home. Nobody was more grateful than me when stupid high school ended and I was off to college. It wasn't too far from my town, so my parents could visit me often or come bail me out every time an officer thought I was an underage driver. Gosh, this is the 3rd time this month. Why are you police officers so dumb? Can't you see I have a real license?
She doesn't mean that, officer. Come on, sweetie. Let's go!
My parents always had my back, but no one understood how frustrating it was for me to be treated like a kid all the time until I met Andrew. In my 2nd year at university, I took up a job as a professor's assistant for one of the courses. I knew the other students made fun of me behind my back, but one day they went really overboard. The professor was unexpectedly detained and I was taking the class in his place. As soon as I turned my back to the board, I got hit by a dozen paper balls. I turned around to see everyone snickering. I'm your teacher! Didn't your parents teach you any respect?
You're not our teacher. You can't even reach the top of the board without standing on a stool. Go back to school, loser.
You can't behave this way with me! I want everyone who's responsible to apologize right now!
Or you'll do what? Go crying to your mommy?
I'll fail you in every single assignment. You do remember I grade them, right?
Oh no! I'm scared, Miss Alva. Will you forgive me if I give you a lollipop?
That's it! Get out!
Happy to! Come on, guys, let's go! We don't need to take orders from some high school smarty pants!
And just like that, the whole class walked out. I tried to keep my cool, but when everyone had left, I burst into angry tears. Just then, I felt a gentle tap on the shoulder, and I looked up to see that it was Andrew, one of the students.
I'm really sorry about the way they treated you. I think you're really smart and beautiful.
We became friends, and soon after we started dating. He was just the sweetest guy, and even though he looked much older than me, he was never ashamed to hold my hand in public, even if it got us weird looks. A few weeks later, I had an internship interview in another city, and Andrew offered to see me off at the airport. Just as I was leaving, he took my hand.
Good luck, babe. I hope you get it, but I'll really miss you.
And with that, he pulled me in for our first kiss. My head was still spinning with joy, and finally I saw a few policemen walking towards us.
Sir, please move away from the kid!
What's the problem, officer?
We've recently had many reports of a gang kidnapping young girls, and you need to come down to the station with us to answer a few questions.
Wait, what? He's not a kidnapper. He's my boyfriend, and I'm 20 years old. The policeman didn't listen to a word we said, and we were taken down to the station. My parents had to come down again with my birth certificate and baby pictures before they finally let us go. It turned out that the people at the airport had been making videos of the whole thing, and it had gone viral on social media with people saying all sorts of mean things about me and Andrew. And to make things worse, the company I had an interview with wasn't happy that I didn't show up, so I lost the internship too. I was beyond furious now. I took to social media myself and posted a video talking about how I'd always been discriminated against because of the way I looked. The video went viral, and I started receiving a lot of sympathy messages and support. The public pressure made the police issue an official apology, and the company even offered me the internship again. But my condition had really sparked an interest in the public, and I was being invited to tons of TV and online interviews. All everyone wanted to know was the secret of my youth. Soon enough, I realized that people envied me. One morning, I picked up the local newspaper from the door and was horrified to see my face splashed across the front page with the headline, "Girl Discovers Secret to Eternal Youth."
Babe, come here and look outside the window.
To my shock, there was a massive crowd of people outside our apartment building, and the minute they spotted me in the window, they started screaming.
Have you discovered the Fountain of Youth? Tell us where it is. What do you eat to look so young? I'll pay anything for it.
With your anti-aging formula for youthful skin, we can become millionaires. Come work for our skincare company.
This was complete madness, and I had to put an end to it. I opened the window and everybody became quiet to hear what I had to say. Listen, there is no secret. It's a condition I've always had, and it's not a blessing. I've never had anyone take me seriously my whole life. I spent all of high school being bullied. My message to everyone is that we all need to learn to be happy in our own skins and accept everyone as they are. Thankfully, the message spread far and wide, and people didn't bother me again. But I still became pretty famous and was regularly called for talks on self-acceptance and against bullying. I'm married to Andrew now, and we have 2 young kids, and secretly I really don't mind at all when someone says I don't look like a mom.
Hi there, I'm Melissa. I grew up in a small town in Turkey, and I recently found out that I'm adopted. And my dad doesn't know I know. Since then, all I've wanted is to find my real parents. All right, let's dive into my crazy adventure. I never met my mother, but I was raised by the most incredible father. He was a carpenter, and even though we were never wealthy, I had everything I required. What I cherished most were books. Dad would read to me every night, and I became obsessed. When I joined school and discovered the library, I felt like I'd gone to heaven. And I always preferred my friends from stories over real people. Once in 6th grade, I needed to use the dictionary. So I went to Dad's room and climbed a stool to take it down from the shelf. Just then, the stool under me wobbled, and I went crashing to the floor with some books. As I started picking everything up, I saw something that left me shook. It was a picture of a couple holding a baby, and the woman looked exactly like me. She had to be my mom, and the man next to her was my real dad. I turned the picture over and all it said was Vienna, 2005. That was the year I was born. Were my biological parents in Vienna? I slipped the picture into my pocket. Dad had hidden it, and I needed to understand why. I planned to confront him that evening, but he didn't come home. Hours passed, and he wouldn't even pick up his phone. Just then, there was a loud knock on the door, and it was Dad's friends from work bringing him in a wheelchair. Oh my God, Dad, what happened? He'd had a terrible fall at work and wasn't allowed to walk for months. Even after he fully healed, he had a lasting limp. Now, I set aside all thoughts of questioning him about my biological parents. I didn't want to make things harder for him. Once in the 8th grade, I'd gone with Dad to the market, when suddenly he got a cramp in his leg and lost his balance. He went crashing straight into a wealthy-looking man, who in turn fell onto a food seller stall, bringing down the whole thing with him. As I helped Dad up, the wealthy man turned to him furiously.
You blind, ignorant man! Look what you've done! My suit is ruined! Do you know what it costs? More than your house, I'm sure!
Don't talk to my father like that. He didn't do it intentionally. He has an injured leg.
So why is this cripple going around causing trouble for everyone else? I want the money for my suit!
You may have all the wealth in the world, sir, but you certainly don't have any compassion. My father's ailment is something he can't help. But what's your excuse for your cold, unfeeling, dead heart?
Hey kid, just shut up, and...
But just then, a rich-looking lady stepped forward.
Don't talk like that to the child. Will this solve your problem?
She waved a thick bundle of cash in his face. In 2 seconds, the man's anger was gone. The rich lady even gave money to the stall owner, and she offered to take me and Dad home. We invited her in, and soon after she said something completely unexpected.
I'm so impressed with you, Melissa. And this might sound strange, but would you like to come live with me in Vienna? I would love to send you to a really good school.
Vienna? That's where my real parents were from. This was my chance to look for them. She even said she'd hired Dad as a handyman on her estate. I was really eager to go. And within a week, we'd packed up our lives and moved. The lady's estate was 5 times larger than my school. And Dad and I were given a small cottage to live in. And just a few days later, the lady told me I'd be joining her daughter's school. On my first day, as I walked up to the lady's car, a girl suddenly pushed me aside.
Oh, maid! Where do you think you're going? Go clean something!
Where are your manners? Rose, this is the amazing girl I told you about, and I'd like you two to be friends.
Oh, she's your charity case. She looks like her only friends would be cows and baby goats.
And what is so distasteful about being friends with such lovely creatures? May I ask?
No, you may not ask me anything. Who talks like that? Freak!
I stay quiet during all the commutes to our school, but Rose doesn't. When we arrived, she yelled at me.
Hey, hurry up, poor cat. If I'm late, it's on you.
You're a jerk! Suddenly, a guy walks up to me.
Hey, welcome to the new school, loser.
Wow, who were these people? Turns out the jerk was in my class along with Rose. I could see them all looking me up and down, but I just ignored them. Later at recess, I sat alone, reading. The boy took a seat at my table with his friends behind him.
I don't think I introduced myself before. I'm Vincent. What's your name?
You can call me whatever you like. After all, what's in a name?
Huh, what are you saying?
Would a rose smell less sweet if it was named garbage? Would a fire not burn us if it was called a flower? Would I be less annoyed by you if my name wasn't Melissa? The answer is no.
Why are you talking like that, weirdo? So your name's Melissa? That's kinda pretty.
You don't need to remember it. I don't think we'll have much to do with each other. And with that, I just left.
Aw, poor Vincent. How does it feel to be rejected by a girl?
Oh, please. I just need a little time with her, and she'll be head over heels in love. I can work my magic on any girl.
Well, I'm not so sure about this one.
Challenge accepted.
It was no surprise that Vincent and Rose were best friends, and their gang was the meanest bunch of kids around. I'd see them picking on smaller kids at recess, or poking fun at their classmates. They didn't even spare the teachers. So I was horrified when the physics teacher announced that I'd be paired with Vincent for a project. But he looked delighted. I tried ignoring him and was reading the science book to figure out something, when suddenly he snatched it from me.
Why are you always staring at a book when you could be looking at more beautiful things like me?
I don't have time for your nonsense. Vincent, give that back.
Okay, but only if you agree to go out with me.
I'd rather jump off a cliff.
Wrong answer.
And with that, he ripped some pages out and threw the book in the trash bin. What is the matter with you? Don't you have any respect for anyone or anything? God, you're such an imbecile.
Why do you use such strange words? An imbe, what?
What now? An imbecile. It means a fool, an idiot, a dummy, a moron. I pushed him away and he went crashing into our half-finished project. I didn't even care. There was no way I was working with him. A few days later, I was walking back home when suddenly it started to pour heavily. As I dashed through the rain, a car stopped me and Vincent rolled down the window.
Hey, you're gonna get sick! Get in the car!
I'd rather catch pneumonia.
Oh my god, just get in! Hate me later!
Reluctantly, I got in, and a minute later we were driving up to his gigantic mansion. He quickly led me to the fireplace in the library, and my mouth was just wide open. Never seen so many books in one place in my whole life. What a treasure this is!
Well, you're welcome to take some. I don't read them, and my parents are hardly ever here.
I felt a bit sorry for him. That sounded lonely. And suddenly I remembered something. Oh my god, my parents' picture. I dug through my pockets to find it all wet, and I started flapping it around to dry it.
What's that? And why are you acting crazy?
It's the only picture I have of my real parents. I told him how I discovered it, and that I carried it around with me, hoping I'd find them somewhere.
I think I could help you with that. My parents know a good private investigator. He could probably track them down.
Do you really mean that? That would be amazing! Thank you so much! As we spent some time talking, I felt myself warming up to Vincent. I suddenly turned to him. Vincent, why do you act that way in school?
What do you mean?
I mean, you have everything in the world, and you're wasting every opportunity to learn. And all you do is tease and mock other people. I'm sure your life isn't perfect, but that's not an excuse to be the worst version of yourself. Most of the time I thought he'd be really mad, but instead he took my hand.
I'm sorry, you've only seen the worst of me. I'll try to change that.
He kissed me on the cheek before he turned away, and for some reason I couldn't stop smiling all the way home. As I was walking down to the cottage, Rose suddenly jumped out from behind a tree.
Is that Vincent's car you just got off from? Why?
It's none of your business, Rose.
Vincent is very much my business. I know you have a wild imagination, but don't start dreaming that someone like him could ever like you.
I pushed her aside and walked off. She was crazy, as if I wanted someone like Vincent. Or did I? He was just so nice. After that day, he'd come sit next to me in the cafeteria, help me carry my stuff. And one time, as I was walking back home, he leapt out of a car and decided to walk with me. He told me the investigator was hopeful we'd find my parents really soon. And a few days later, when he asked me to be his date for the Christmas dance at school, I really couldn't refuse. Dad had surprised me one evening with the most beautiful dress, and at the dance, I felt like someone straight out of a fairy tale. I was searching for Vincent in the hall when I felt a gentle tap on my shoulder.
Wow, you look really beautiful, Melissa.
He took my hand and led me to the dance floor, and it felt like we were in our own little world. At the end of the song, he suddenly pulled me closer and leaned in to kiss me. Everyone around us was clapping and cheering as I kissed him back. During the evening, I went to freshen up in the bathroom, and when I returned, I found Vincent in a corner with Rose and his friends.
Wow, Vincent, you really take a challenge seriously. You said you could make any girl fall for you, and you proved it. That kiss could have fooled even me. Melissa has totally fallen for your Prince Charming act. It's gonna be so much fun when you dump her.
That's what I was, a challenge! Vincent looked shocked as they all turned around to see me behind them.
No, Melissa, wait! It's not what you—
I suddenly slapped him hard. Why did I think you were actually a decent human being? You even pretended to help me find my parents just to convince me that you cared. You're the most vile person I've had the misfortune to meet. I hate you. No, I despise you. I didn't go to school for days. I just didn't want to see anyone's face. But one day, Dad walked into my room holding a package.
A boy from your school dropped this, saying it was important. Forgive me for opening it first, but Melissa, you've known about your parents, and you've been looking for them.
Wait, what? Dad? I'm sorry. I just needed to know. He gave me the package as he sat down on my bed, and I looked through the papers with trembling hands. The first was a newspaper clipping saying my parents were politicians who had been sentenced to prison for 25 years for stealing state funds.
I worked at your parents' house. When they were arrested, you were going to be sent to an orphanage, and I just really wanted a kid. So I adopted you. Melissa, I kept the truth from you because I thought it would only make you upset. I'm sorry if I haven't been the best dad.
I jumped forward and hugged him, tears pouring down my face. No! You're the most amazing dad anyone could possibly have. I just wanted to know who they were. But it's not because I've ever been unhappy with you as my father. Not ever. Dad hugged me back.
If you ever want to see them, I'll arrange a visit, okay? It won't bother me at all. I know you're my daughter. By the way, that boy just left if you want to talk to him.
I ran out the door after Vincent, who was walking down to the gate. Why did you do that? Your stupid challenge was over, right? Why did you make an effort to find my parents?
Melissa, it did start off as a stupid challenge, and I wasn't planning on falling for you. But I did. Almost instantly. What I feel for you is real and true. I wouldn't have made all that effort if I didn't love you. You're the most special girl I've ever met, and you make me want to be a better person. I'm so sorry for hurting you. Please forgive me, will you?
I looked into his earnest eyes and slowly smiled. I'd rather go down with the Titanic. But I stepped closer and pulled him in for a kiss.
Snakey, I'm Melon. Melon!
Who are you talking to? Oh, hi guys. I'm Grace and this is Melon.
Snakey, stinky breath, stinky breath.
Hey, that's offensive. Stink! Guys, I'll be right back. In the meantime, please like and subscribe. Hey y'all, I'm back. And this charming boy here is Melon. When I was 5, my grandmother got Melon as a pet. He has been my closest companion ever since. But I was 11 when we lost Grandma forever, so Melon is now my pet. We live with my mom, who raised me all alone. She is an incredible fashion designer and works extremely hard.
Nifty tie, Snakey!
But she never has time to go out and enjoy a social life.
Social life, Snakey, no nifty ties.
Don't be selfish. Melon. Just then, I heard a sound outside my window. It was Leo, the school bully, and his cronies picking on Conte. Conte and his parents had moved in about a week ago across the street from me. He was in 5th grade as well. But Conte was smaller than the other boys in our class. He wore glasses and had a lot of acne, which made him the perfect target for bullies.
You're like a science experiment gone wrong with those pimples, buddy.
I'm just getting ready for Halloween. Need to begin early with the spooky costumes, you know?
Suddenly, Leo and his gang pushed Conte and dragged him away. We have to do something.
Let's go, Snakey!
Melon and I stealthily trailed the boys to an abandoned house 2 blocks away. We peeked inside and saw Leo and his boys harassing Conte. Leo needed to be taught a lesson. Melon, time to put on our spooky act. I opened the window slightly, and Melon crawled through. He slid under a sheet and started flying around like a ghost.
Boo! Boo! I'm the ghost of Snake Past!
The boys' faces drained of color. It's haunted! Run! As the boys ran out screaming, I climbed in through the window and helped Conte up.
Thanks for helping me. You guys are awesome.
Let's go before real ghosts come. From that day, Conte, Milan, and I were inseparable. Conte basically became a member of my small family. We played video games, had all-night movie marathons, and he even taught me how to play basketball. Heck, when we were 14, we even opened an animal shelter.
Interesting people. Interesting people.
Are you saying I'm boring?
He's just saying you're as interesting as watching paint dry.
Life was wonderful the summer before high school. Mom, Melon, and I even went to Paris for Mom's first international fashion tour. It was incredible. I assisted Mom in dressing her models and even offered her a few design tips. Because we were super busy, I didn't have time to check in with Conte, but I bought him a few souvenirs to make up for it. After all, he was my best friend, and he'd understand, right? But then something weird happened. When we came back from Paris, Conte suddenly disappeared. He stopped talking to me and even stopped replying to my messages. I was super worried. So on the first day of high school, I ran over to his house, worried crazy. When the door opened, I almost passed out. Conte looked amazing and cool. No glasses, no acne. He looked like a teen model. But before I could even ask him what was up, he frowned.
I think I'll walk to school by myself today.
Then he closed the door and walked away. I was beyond shocked. Was he kidding? He had to be, right? Wrong, because at school things got even weirder. Kante avoided me like the plague. Every time he saw me, he dodged and ran away. Finally, I cornered him in the hallway. What's with the dodgeball moves? Did I do something?
Look, I gotta go.
Distracted, I bumped into Leo and his gang.
Aw, is little loser sad because Kante no longer wants to be seen with her?
Better a loser than a clown? What trick are you going to do today? How to use your mouth to talk instead of your butt. Leo's face turned red. He leaned towards me menacingly. Luckily, a teacher passed by and he and his gang rushed away. That evening, I was very bummed out. After school, I saw Kante hanging out with some guys who spent more time in detention than they did in their classrooms. Did he think he was too cool to hang out with me? Melon, you won't believe it. Kante's acting so weird and I just don't understand why.
Snakey, secret agent, Snakey, undercover.
Melon gave me a great idea. What if I followed Kante around to find out what was going on and why he started hanging out with those guys? I wanted my best friend back. As I was trying to understand Kante's odd behavior, there was an unexpected knock on the door and Mom waltzed in.
Hey kiddo, I've got some news. I've met someone and he's coming for dinner with his kid tonight. Is that okay?
Snakey, nifty ties, gone.
Melon. Shh! Of course, Mom, I'm so happy for you! With a chuckle, Mom hugged me.
Dress up a bit, okay? I want us to make a good impression.
To be honest, I was excited for Mom. That is until I opened the door for her guests and saw who they were.
Grace, what a pleasant surprise! I'm gonna make your life a nightmare.
I gulped. This was going to be a disaster. But to my shock, during dinner, Leo was super polite. I could hardly recognize him. He even poured juice for me. Was I wrong about him? Just then, Mom and Leo's dad went to the kitchen to grab the chocolate cake Mom had baked, and I sat with Leo awkwardly when suddenly I felt something crawl up my leg and onto my chest. I screeched louder than a pig in a mud bath and leaped from my chair as the rodent darted into the kitchen. Leo's dad emerged from the kitchen holding the toy mouse.
Grace, Claire, I'm so sorry about this.
Boys will be boys. No harm done.
And jerks will be jerks! As soon as Leo and his dad left, I rushed over to Kante's house to give him the bad news that my mom was dating Leo's dad. Hey, Kante, can we talk? But Kante didn't look happy to see me. Kante shook his head and looked away.
What? Grace?
OMG! What the heck is wrong with you? Why are you acting like such a jerk?
Then go away.
You know what? I will!
I spun on my heels and walked away. Silent tears rolled down my cheeks. I missed my best friend, and I needed him now more than ever. As days turned into weeks, my school life became a minefield of misery, courtesy of Leo's relentless pranks at school and at home, and Kante's silent treatment. Melon was my only friend, but even he was worried about me.
Tell Mom! Tell Mom!
What? Was I supposed to tell her? That her boyfriend's son's heart was as dark as a moonless night? But just when I thought my life was over, something amazing happened. I got an opportunity to win a scholarship to college. I was thrilled. If I could get it, I wouldn't have to worry about my fees. All I had to do was write an essay about the career path I wanted to choose and why I deserved the scholarship. I was so excited. I spent the next month working tirelessly on my essay. And when I finally finished, I was super proud of myself. On the day of the deadline, I rushed to the principal's office clutching my laptop with my cherished essay, when out of nowhere, a torrent of dirty mop water careened toward me. It was like everything was happening in slow-mo. My laptop fell on the floor and broke in two. Before I could get it, someone standing close by jumped on it, smashed. OMG, stop! Stop! I didn't save it on the cloud. This can't be happening, my essay. But it did happen. I sat in a pool of dirty, stinky water with bits of laptop around me. My precious essay gone forever. And then I heard it. The most terrible sound on the planet. Leo laughing. Suddenly, my vision blurred with anger, and before I knew it, I was on top of him, clawing at his hair like a wild animal. It took the combined strength of 3 teachers to wrestle me away. You ruined my chances of getting that scholarship, Leo. I hate you. I ran out with tears in my eyes. At home, I locked myself in my room and cried. That night, I got a call from Kante, but I refused to answer. Shortly after, he sent me a text saying that he saw what happened at school, and he was really sorry. He called repeatedly, and eventually I switched off my phone and cried myself to sleep. Over the next few days, I couldn't eat, and I spent most of my time in and out of sleep.
Darling, if something is troubling you, you can always talk to me, okay? I'm here for you.
Snaky, tell her!
With a deep breath, I opened up to Mom and told her everything about Leo's relentless bullying, the scholarship and the essay, and how Conte had distanced himself from me. I was devastated and miserable.
Oh, honey, why didn't you tell me earlier?
You were so happy with Leo's dad, and I didn't want to ruin it for you.
You will always be my #1 priority. And as for Conte, let's work on finding out what's wrong there too.
Later that evening, I decided to walk to the park to clear my head. I was sitting behind a tree when I heard familiar voices, and what I heard next made my blood run cold.
I refuse to be involved in this any longer.
Oh, don't you? What about the $50,000 that I gave you for your mother's hospital treatment?
I gasped, $50,000!
Remember our deal. I provide the money, and in return, you become my slave. You do as I tell you. And I'm telling you to stay the heck away from Grace. I hate her. Or your mom suffers.
Leo's words hit me like a sledgehammer. Conte was being blackmailed. He was trying to save his mother while also protecting me and Mom. That night, I decided to take things into my own hands and decided to visit Conte. Since I knew he wouldn't let me in through the front door, I decided to climb in through the window. But it was way tougher than they make it look in movies. As soon as I leaped onto the roof, a tile dislodged and slid down the roof, and I was clutching the gutter for dear life. My life flashed before my eyes. I heard the window open, followed by Conte's voice.
Grace, what are you doing?
Shut up and help!
I'm here to rescue you. Hang on, I'm on my way.
Within a few seconds, he took my hand and dragged me up, and Conte safely brought me back to the floor. I wrapped my arms around Conte, overflowing with gratitude, but he gently pushed me away.
You shouldn't be here.
Because Leo would hurt Mom and us, right? Conte's eyes widened in surprise. I overheard you guys at the park. Come on, let's go to your room before Leo catches us. Finally, Conte told me about his mother's illness and his father losing his job while we were away. I felt so guilty. I'm so sorry, Conte. I should have been there for you.
No, it's fine. But I don't have any money for Leo, and if I ever cross him, all the things I did for him will come back to haunt me.
A mischievous grin crept across my face as I rubbed my hands together. Leave it to Melon and me. The next evening, I told Mom to invite Leo and his dad over for dinner because we had settled things between us. When they arrived, I was still connecting the camera that I had secured in Melon's tie to my laptop when I finally emerged. I spied Leo's father slipping into my mother's office. I tiptoed to the office and peeked inside with Melon perched on my head, and what I heard sent shivers down my spine.
Yes, I'm bringing her designs tonight and my gambling debt will be squared off, right?
I was shocked. Mom had spent months making designs to pitch to Prada. This was a huge deal for her. Her entire career depended on it. Melon and I scurried back to my room. It wasn't the footage I hoped to get. It was 10 times better. I quickly sent a copy to Conte before heading to the dining room to greet our guests. Leo and I pretended to like each other and had a polite conversation. After the meal, I turned to everyone. I've decided to apply to a few colleges, and they wanted me to do a short video of myself. I'd love to get your opinions. As the tape played in the living room, Leo's father looked like he'd seen a ghost. Mom, on the other hand, was furious.
How dare you! Come into my house and try to steal my designs! I worked so hard! Get out!
But I wasn't going to let Leo and his father leave just like that. Not so fast. I won't share this on social media if Leo leaves Conte alone. I know about the 50,000 and all the things you've made Conte do.
You? What? Blackmailing our Conte pal? You have 3 days to pack your bags and move out of town or I'm calling the cops.
Leo and his father practically ran out crying.
Snaky, trash gone! Trash gone!
While I was happy that I got justice for Conte, I felt super bad that Leo's dad had broken Mom's heart. I'm so sorry, Mom. I know you liked him a lot.
Don't worry, kiddo, you just saved my business.
I rushed over to Conte to tell him the great news.
Thank you, Grace, for having my back even though I was a jerk to you.
That's okay. Relationships aren't always sunshine. They need a little rain to grow. Slowly, Conte's mother recovered, and my mom hired Conte's father as her personal assistant. After Conte and I finally graduated high school, we got into the same college, excited about whatever life had in store for us, confident that our enduring friendship would weather any storm that came our way.